If that hour after dinner is the most dangerous for you when it comes to cravings, snacking on crap you don't really want to be eating, and just generally losing control over food despite trying really hard all day, I've got you. We're going to talk about 3 things that you can do that are super easy to give yourself more control over snacks without a magical well of willpower after a long day of like Zoom meetings and ferrying the kids around. So let's dig in. Number 1 is environment design. So this is a concept that's been around forever. And if you really need some extra support, read James Clear's Atomic Habits. He talks about it a ton. What this means is if you are a habitual or mindless eater at night, so it's not driven by stress or comfort or fatigue, you are probably just grabbing it because it's in your house and it's available. And research on human behavior shows that if something is available with food, we are likely to wear down eventually and eat it. And if there's a large volume, we're gonna eat 10, 20, 30% more, and our brain is still gonna rate it as if we'd had just a normal volume at home. So set your house up for success if evening munching is a challenge. So if someone in your house is doing the munching, put yourself in another room, go read a book, watch a show on your iPad, just away from that food. You can try closing the kitchen, so turning the lights off and just making sure that's obvious, like, hey, I didn't wanna be in here. You can also remove the foods from your house you find most triggering for this. So get them if you want them on a weekend, but don't stock things you have trouble controlling. You're just wearing down the finite amount of willpower we all have, and we want to save that for more important times. So remove things you don't really need to have in the house, just go buy them in single servings when you need them, and make sure that you are not in the space where things are being munched on, because that's almost impossible to ignore if you're a human. The second thing I see a lot of in my clients is their dopamine cup is empty at the end of a long day. It's been stressful. There was a client meeting that was really hard. They're tired. The kids were cranky at bedtime. And so your happy hormone cup is really running really low. Your job here is to go, okay, these cravings to munch are a signal from my brain that it needs to feel better. And the reason we continually munch is because food only gives us a very short burst in those happy hormones. We have to keep eating to keep getting it. What I want you to do when you get that craving at night, or even just proactively, is after dinner, before you even think about food, have a plan for some sort of non-food self-care, some sort of non-food dopamine bump, something that really makes you feel good. That might be a really funny, trashy show. Maybe you go read a book on the balcony while it's still nice and beautiful out. Maybe you call or FaceTime your friend who's not in town. You can knit, you can sit on the couch in front of the AC, you can do a 2-minute meditation or some deep breaths, whatever is going to bring your nervous system back into balance. Even if it's just for 2 minutes, it's going to give you more willpower and more impulse control in your brain than you had before you started. So when you do get that urge to munch, you'll likely be able to avoid it some nights, or at least munch on less, which is going to add up over the week, especially if your goal is fat loss or energy. Now, the last one, so number 3, is eat more earlier in the day. And I can't emphasize enough, my women, especially my 35 plus women who like me came from the super diety era of low cal stuff, you are not eating enough during the day, and so your hunger hormones are ramping up. You have a perfectly well balanced filling dinner, but because we've made all those hunger hormones, they're still in our system waiting to get broken down, and so we have this drive to eat even though your gut might say, I'm totally satisfied. What I want you to do is add more protein and a little bit more calories at breakfast and lunch, and so that you don't have that really big push or drive to eat in the evening, especially if you also have stressful days. Adding that physical drive for food with the low impulse control that comes in our wind down hour from that low dopamine, those low happy hormones, makes it almost impossible to be successful. So I really want you to start thinking about adding 20 to 30 grams of protein to breakfast, the same at lunch, and be including some healthy fats for calories at each of those meals. So spreading your food out more over the day instead of saving it for nighttime when it's not going to be as effective. Now, I would love for you to pick just one of these to start with. You don't have to overhaul in order to see change. And remember, consistency is king when it comes to getting the success you want with feeling good in your skin and in your body. And a reminder that if these are things you struggle with, I work on this stuff with all of my clients, and I would be happy to help you. You can find out more information about me and how I work and get all the free resources as well at the link below.